My mother-in-law, she uninvited my disabled son from her birthday. Why would she do that, you ask? Well, guys, get this. She did it because she said, in her own words, she is very upset that my son is disabled, and he's a disgrace. That's right, she said my boy's a disgrace, so I decided to get my own revenge. My posts are long and detailed, and I try to really paint a picture for you guys to understand my feelings and thoughts. Any and all advice is welcome, and I'm open to constructive criticism on dealing with situations like this. My husband Samuel and I have been married for 13 years. We have a son who's 11. We both went to top schools, got our degrees, and currently have very well-paying jobs in tech. We're from Northern Ireland, by the way. I'm not trying to sound braggy, this is just for context. Samuel's family has a fine surface-level relationship with each other. There's no issues, and they get along well. They do, however, have a very destructive communication style. They're quite passive-aggressive and secretive, and there's a fair amount of triangulation that goes on. They're also quite a conservative family. It's not as easy as sharing with them how we feel. They don't talk and honest and openly. It's seen as oversharing and rude, and anything rude is ignored. My mother-in-law, Alicia, is a classic snob. All she cared about was using me to elevate her status in society. She even admitted to me that she only had me because, quote, she had to. The first time I met her, she came on very strong, but couldn't have been sweeter. She was just a lot. We went down to visit his family after dating for about 9 months, and she went to know everything about me. Even though she pumped Samuel for details when she found out he was in a serious relationship, she's definitely more of a conservative side and very, very southern. She gushed over my accomplishments and kept telling me how she was so happy her son had finally found someone on his level. This was the first comment that struck me as odd coming from her. Many little comments on her view of status were to follow. She insisted that we go to church with them on Sunday, and even though neither Samuel nor I are religious, it's important to her, plus we're both raised Catholic, so hey, no big deal. Apparently, she's pretty involved in her church and had been talking to up our relationship to her church friends. She introduced me to everyone by the name The Techie. I'm proud of my education, but that isn't my whole identity. I was gracious and polite, however. Eventually, our families met and everyone was happy, and then was my marriage. Soon, Alicia started to become jealous of me because who grew up in a blue-collar family have higher degrees from more prestigious universities than she does. I got the exact bachelor degree that she had wanted to do, but she decided she would rather sit at home and eat chocolate bars and not go to school at all. She's a homemaker who never cooked or cleaned and often forgot to pick up her kids at school, is my point. She made her doormat of a husband slave away and retired late so she could retire in her lavish, wealthy, waterfront gated community and also get a Mercedes that she always felt she deserved. I believe I intimidated her, and she's jealous in many ways, so I've been told, because I made something of myself. I'm intelligent, kind, self-aware, independent, and I don't need her or father-in-law's money, and so she has no power over me at all. So she resorts to making snide comments or actions towards me that I usually just shrug off, because she's the type of person who would deny any type of confrontation. She's also quite judgy and harshy of a person, and Samuel knows and acknowledges this, but has always told me not to take it seriously and brushed it off as her, quote, personality. However, she went off the limits with our son, Cian, being born. When Cian began learning to read and write, we started to notice signs of dyslexia, which was then diagnosed when he was 7. He's smart, like really smart, but he does struggle a lot with reading. He has to take a step back and take his time as the letters make no sense to him sometimes. His cousin often reads things for him to help him out, and he appreciates it, but I know it also makes him feel stupid since he can't do it himself. Alicia always makes fun of him. Whenever he makes a mistake, she always repeats it and mocks him, and I hate it. We've asked her to stop, but she simply won't. One day, Cian was trying to spell Alicia's name. He asked her how to spell it, and she said, "Are you serious? You don't know how to spell your granny's first name at this point?" My son silently went to our spare room without saying another word. Father-in-law does not believe that Cian is dyslexic and never has.
He always insists that it's just because we baby him and haven't raised him with Christ-centered values, and that he would read if he really wanted to. He basically insinuates that Cian's just stupid and makes up dyslexia. My in-laws have never once helped with my kid. They've done much for their daughters, and I don't know if that's because Alicia likes her son-in-laws or because she hates me. They've always spent their time and money on their other grandchildren every weekend, and on vacations, and exclude my kid. They treat him and me as outsiders and not part of the family. I calmly talked to her and told her how I felt, and she basically told me that her other grandkids were like her own and my son was not. I tried telling Samuel about it, and he had 1 or 2 conversations with her, and things never changed. Okay, let's fast forward to now. Samuel has been very pushy about mending my relationship with his mom and dad, and I've tried so hard to explain that our kid should not be around people who mock him and say awful things about their mother. But he's always trying to see the best in people and wants our children to have grandparents, as he feels like they, quote, need their whole family. The only reason I do this is for my husband, but it's just pretending to grit my teeth and smile. We tried many things to start mending our relationship. Gave her a gift card for a massage and facial, a box of her favorite chocolates that she can savor, and her favorite candle was sent. Invited her for a traditional meal with me and my family. Wrote a letter thanking her for all the help, support, and kindness she showed me. There was no change, but I just continued to try to make an effort to be closer to her and spend time with her. We took her on vacations, and nothing else I could do to be closer. However, she saw it as a, see, I'm not an awful person, please like me, type of thing. That backfired and made me look clingy and self-absorbed. So Samuel started complimenting me in front of his parents, correcting them when they said things like he does all the work. He talked about my contributions and full-up talked to his mom to set the record straight. We thought that these coming from him would mean more than it coming from me, but it didn't work. Alicia loves her birthday. She kept joking when I was pregnant with Cian that if I went into labor on her birthday, I better hold him in. My in-laws throw these crazy parties. Her 60th was like the size of a wedding. This year, Alicia's 64th birthday's coming up, and she asked Samuel what his plans were for her birthday, to which Samuel said that he was thinking of a rooftop party. Well, she seemed excited, but had a rule about no children, and simply said it was for adults only. Well, he said he's okay with that. Later, he presented to me the plan to impress Alicia by throwing her a grand birthday party. He kept it a secret that I would be paying for the entire event, hoping that the party would bring about a change in our relationship and make her appreciate me for being able to raise to her level of social expectations. Samuel was convinced that this would change how she views me and might soften her attitude towards me. So we planned this birthday perfectly with all the activities she might like, including a cookout, local pizza parlor, movie night by the pool, make her own cookies, open bar going until 2 a.m. We got all kinds of themed decorations and got tons of food and snacks. I also booked a spa and kept a surprise. We had been planning all these for several weeks, and we sent out invitations to close family members, her regular friends and her church friends, and also invited a bunch of family from out of town. A few days before her birthday, Alicia asked what she could make to bring to the party. Samuel thanked her for the offering to bring something, but simply told her that all the food was taken care of. We were having it catered, and we wanted her to just enjoy the party. She appreciated him for the effort and put into the organization of such an amazing celebration. Later, she sent him a photo of a cake she wanted. We gave the order to a real professional bakery to prepare that exact cake. It was a vanilla cake with small pieces of chocolate on top, smoothing, a finer flour tips, buttercream decorations, and, of course, a flower piping. Yesterday was the birthday party, and we were all excited. I wore a cocktail attire, did my hair and makeup, and got somewhat glammed up. We were rushing to set up when Alicia and father-in-law showed up 15 minutes before the party started. Wow. When they got to the party, I said hello and told them to have a seat. As the evening progressed, I overheard her bragging to all the elite guests about how her son was able to organize such a perfect party all by himself. She kept talking crap about me and my parents, who were guests and who Alicia reminded me to invite. I was fuming, but hey, I bit my tongue thinking I should not cause a scene. Now it was time for the snacks. Alicia is social media obsessed because she loves showing off and bragging, which is annoying as heck, but hey, whatever. She had to photograph all the snacks being served in addition to going around and photographing the rooftop just so she could boast on Facebook. When some kids started joining in, I noticed that we were having a party where everyone was invited, not just the adults. That was the last straw for me. Telling my mother was honestly the most stressful part because she looked like she was about to explode, but I did not have the mental space to deal with that, so I just said that I'll sort it out with Alicia. I asked Alicia why she excluded Cian. She didn't even reply, she just ignored me, and I could see Samuel was hurt by this, so I told him to ask her why our boy was not included, and her excuse was, I don't know how these kids showed up. I still don't want them here. This was complete and utter BS, because she wanted kids included in this event too, we know it. So basically, it was Samuel's parents, all of his siblings and their spouses, and all of the children. Minus my kid. I pointed out to her that this seemed a bit intentional, and in response, she admitted to inviting the kids at the last minute. She then proceeded to say, and I quote, "We wanted Cian to be here, but we had no way to get him here in secrecy for it to be a surprise." I told her that she was backpedaling because now she got caught. Well, Samuel was also deeply hurt by this. Firstly, because the whole situation angered him, but he rarely confronts his parents over it due to the family dynamic. I told Alicia that if she did not want our son coming, she should have told us directly. Now she bluntly said that the reality is he's a disabled kid. She didn't want his presence to ruin her birthday and her family's reputation. Father-in-law said that they were ashamed they have a grandchild with a disability, and they're too uncomfortable to have him here. The party I planned and paid for. When my parents came to my defense, Alicia verbally lashed out and was screaming and cursing at them. I snapped at her and told her she had no right to speak to them that way and shut her mouth. Despite everyone hearing this, no one went against her. Absolutely no one stood up for my parents. I decided to politely ask my in-laws to leave and explain to them that I would not tolerate them insulting my family like that. It's really the only thing I can do if no one else in this situation is going to step up and shut her down, which they absolutely should, by the way. Father-in-law tried to talk to me about it, but I told him that I didn't want to discuss it right now, and I just wanted them to leave. I didn't want to talk because I was already very angry and did not want to lose my temper. Alicia responded that this was Samuel's party, so I had no right to ask them to leave. Now, Samuel calmly revealed to her that I was the one who paid for the entire party. And she says, "What a joke. You paid for all this?" Well, Alicia, seemingly taken back, stammered for words as Samuel asserted, "Yes, and that means she has a say in how things go." Well, and then she said, "Even if that's true, so what? This is my birthday." The relatives, including Samuel's siblings, were drinking the alcohol and complaining and yakking, eating all our food, and being super ungrateful, asking why I was ruining Alicia's birthday. I immediately called off the party, said it was over, and kindly asked everyone to leave because me and Sam had some plans for the evening. And, well, we would have to cut this party short. They didn't think I was serious, so I opened the door and started yelling to leave. Obviously, they were unhappy, especially the people we knew, but I had to stand firm and clarify that this was not a request. Many of them left, but my in-laws and their allies seemed to ignore me and continued to party. I was absolutely beyond livid, so I made sure there was no food for anyone, apart from the snacks that they were served at the start of the party. I called the catering people and canceled the order. They're a local couple who started a catering business a few years ago, and I did feel bad for them, so I did not ask for a refund. I just said, "I'm really sorry, but I want you to know that I respect the art in your food, and I'm heartbroken to have to cancel." The wife said that she understood and that she would donate the food. Samuel tried to get me to calm down but could not, and I also called the bakery and the spa to cancel. I then approached the venue manager, paid him a few pounds, and had his team cut off the lights. I asked him to make sure that no celebration happens here, and Samuel started begging me to stop as I started taking down the decorations. Alicia was crying and yelling at the same time, saying it's her big day and I spoiled it. She also cried about how she was not able to cut her cake, and father-in-law told her that he had something for her at home and that maybe they could leave. They did end up picking up the gifts and leaving the place, and Samuel messaged the group that the party was unfortunately canceled because of Alicia's behavior. We returned the decorations, paper plates, napkins, cups, cutlery that I've all bought, and we headed home. Alicia went to meet her friends and kept texting me about how my uprightness and my inability to take an opinion ruined her birthday and her entire year. So I've been dealing with calls from Samuel's siblings, other family members, and mutual friends all afternoon, saying I'm an a-hole for doing that to Alicia and treating her like that on her birthday. I decided to delete my social media and just block their number, and I did not respond. Samuel feels like he's been put in the middle and doesn't know how to do this. He's damn right, though, that he's been put in the middle. Alicia's putting him in the middle so she can express control and just dominance over him. She told him that I needed therapy and that I should also go to therapy with her so I could, quote, learn her personality type. And he thinks that's a great idea. Guys, I'm feeling sad, regretful about ever getting married, and I thought about calling off the wedding last year and ultimately went through with it. And now I'm here feeling lonely, feeling sad, married to a man who will always value his mother above me and our kid. I'm even more upset that I'm sitting at my dining room table right now eating this €54 cake that I still had to pick up yesterday, and the cake isn't even good because it's sugar-free. Ugh. I'm glad that I at least still had the receipt for my expensive gift. This woman seriously annoys me. I'm starting to think that I handled this situation terribly and should have ignored my in-laws, though that would have been awkward, that's for sure. Update number 1. Hey everyone, so the amount of comments and support and messages from the last post made me feel so deeply loved and supported. I greatly appreciate everyone who reached out. To the point, after multiple conversations between Samuel and Alicia, she apologized for us not inviting Cian. A couple of days after my party, she threw herself a second birthday party, which was at a fairly upscale restaurant, and she invited us, Cian, some family members and her friends, and put up decorations, opened gifts, got drunk, and talked trash about random things. We were ushered into a private party room when we got to the party, and we were seated. We were given pre-planned menus with several options for appetizers, entrees, and desserts. Samuel asked a passing waiter if we could order a la carte instead of getting the pre-planned meal. The waiter indicated that the meal was being paid for by the host, and because we were part of the party, we needed to order from the menu. As the meal ended, the main server approached us with a check. Samuel seemed to be a little upset and said, I know this isn't how you normally do things, but we're only paying for the wine. We told you that. I suddenly started to panic inside. I was trying to catch someone else's eye to see if they were panicking as much as I was. One other couple looked absolutely horrified, but everyone else tried to look calm. I opened the check and the total was €164. I thought I was going to puke. I've never spent that much on a single meal. I held my crap together because I did not want to make a scene. The couple that looked horrified sided with us, and I asked if they knew how much it would cost and Alicia wasn't paying. They said that they'd asked the waiter and he indicated that the hosts were paying. They texted Alicia and said, thanks so much for inviting us to the party, we had a great time. Just a heads up for next time, we really need to know if we're going to, it's going to cost us more than $100. We're on a really tight budget, so a heads up would be appreciated. Anyways, thanks again. And she replied back, sorry, should have given you a heads up. Glad you came. What kind of host make the guests pay? Samuel disapproves of it, but does not think it's a big deal. We've done 2 back-to-back couple therapy sessions and intend to continue it, but he's not used any of the advice from those sessions in our talks. Both of our families are involved too, so it's a complete mess. I feel like I have a good plan, and after another week or two of therapy, I should be okay to at least get to Samuel and then figure it out from there. Update number 2. I created a new post within an update. Thank you to everyone who's reached out and commented. I greatly appreciate it. Today, I was cleaning Cian's room and saw what he got Alicia as her birthday gift. A wooden tree with her name and his name on it. When I asked him why he didn't give it to her, he told me that she talked with him and told him that while she thought it was a sweet gift, he should not have brought it to the restaurant. When Cian told me this, Samuel and I just had to call her out on it. She flat out said she thought the gift looked ridiculous and she did not want it to be seen at the prestigious restaurant and in front of her guest. Samuel lost it on her and told her that she should be ashamed of herself for saying this when Cian was sincere and absolutely thoughtful. She swore she was not ashamed or embarrassed, and even said that she'd take the gift, but she simply did not want it to be seen there. I feel like I'm at a breaking point tonight because the same arguments keep happening, like a broken record, and don't know how much this can go on any longer. Samuel and I are thinking that if she cannot show anything resembling remorse on this, then we won't even consider supervised visits. For the time being, at least. Nothing is set in stone yet. We're still reeling from all this, but so far, that's where we're at. Quick edit. Things took a hard left yesterday. I'm adding this on. Samuel and Alicia officially went no contact. We're still trying to process everything and figure it out how we feel about this. I think the story of how they got no contact deserves its own post, so I'll be putting that up today. We were on a red-eye flight and get Cian ready for school, so guys, I'm sorry, but we're exhausted. Update number 3. So I was offered this major promotion, like absolutely major. But accepting it required us to move the company's headquarters in a somewhat obscure city. The viability of this move was contingent on getting Cian admitted to the only special needs school in the area that would offer him specialized instruction, necessary to keep him at grade level with his peers. Samuel doesn't have a problem with it and loves that he can have a low-stress job that allows him to work remotely most of the time. Learning this, Alicia was livid that I was planning to move our family 2 hours further away than we were already. Cian had an interview for his school yesterday. My parents are living off fixed income, so said, and I quote, "We're not going to fly out there to see this place until you know you're moving there for sure." But as my in-laws came from old money, they did not hesitate to invite themselves to come with us. I didn't need that added stress, but Samuel convinced me, saying free childcare isn't the worst thing in the world. He suggested we let the grandparents take him mini-golfing so they can bond. I say fine, as long as they're back by 12:30, so we can be ready for Cian's interview at 2. They got back, and father-in-law looks visibly nervous. I'm too distracted trying to get Cian dressed in his interview outfit, ensuring we have all his test results and files together. Even Samuel asked father-in-law, "Everything went okay at mini-golf?" and quizzed him hard about the outing, and he's usually a total space cadet with body language. So I knew that if Samuel thought something seemed off, something must be. I was laser focused on this interview going well, though, and figured that we'd just dive back into the insanity afterward. So we pull up to the school and Cian says, "Hey, I was just here with Grammy." My heart skipped 11 beats. I was too worked up to even converse with the administrators. Samuel had to talk to them to find out what happened. It unfolded after working through 3 layers of personnel that Alicia figured out the school's name, called them pretending to be me, and changed Cian's appointment time and took him by my place. The highlights. Alicia aggressively questioned the head of admissions as to whether or not they admit, quote, gay people, whether or not Cian would be allowed to pray in school and what kind of religious instructions they offer, what moral foundation they build. They're a majorly progressive school. That's one of the reasons we selected them. They informed her that the school was inclusive of people of all backgrounds and all identities, and she asked if that included Trump supporters. Yeah. It was at this point that they ended her portion of the interview and sent Cian to be assessed by an educational psychologist. Since the school only took dyslexic kids, Alicia told them that Cian was not dyslexic and could read, quote, if he really wanted to. She even put him in a situation where he was forced to read, but he just wouldn't. She also told them that if he got into this school, he'd have to leave his house, friends, nice teachers, and games behind. Samuel begged and absolutely pleaded with them for a new interview while I tried to speak and ended up rage crying, looking insane and having to pound my fist against the dashboard of the car. When we returned to the Airbnb, I knew I would say something that could not be taken back. So I just walked past Alicia and went upstairs. As I ascended, I could hear her saying, I was only trying to help. If they don't want Cian, their loss. Well, too bad. I guess you can't move now. We took Cian and went to a new hotel, and Cian kept asking why we had to leave the funhouse. Yeah, it had a pool and an air hockey table. Alicia made a point to say, I bet your parents don't usually do fun things like this for you, because we usually try to save money and stay in budget hotels. Thankfully, our point person in the admissions office says she also has a psychotic mother-in-law and understands and will speak to the head of admissions. But she also warned us that spots can go in the matter of a day or two, and not to get our hopes up. Samuel is putting Alicia on a strict information diet so that she has no idea when we do things that we don't want her dropping in on and messing up. He had a long conversation with her. He tried to get her to understand the magnitude of what she did. In the end, we agreed that she would not be seeing us until she changed, and that our family would only see her at the family events until I was comfortable. Final updates. I love all your stories. Samuel and I have been trying to reply to every single comment. It became way too overwhelming to respond to everybody, but we appreciate you guys so much. Yesterday, there was a family get-together. We were not there and learned this from one of Samuel's cousins. When Samuel enters the family room and the entire family was gathered there, she told everyone that he was the big mistake. He's the firstborn of 2 and they planned to have him, so not the kind of mistake, no. She said that they got it right with his younger brother, even though Samuel is leaps and bounds smarter and better educated with 3 degrees, including a full-ride master's from a reputable university, and he paid his way through undergrad, unlike his brother who had mommy and daddy pay for him to hop around from college to college for like 6 years. Also, Samuel is disciplined, hardworking, his integrity is kind, and is more successful in almost every single way than his brother. Samuel tried to stay polite and composed, as we are used to Alicia's way of thinking, and simply told his cousin that he never takes her perspective on his life choices seriously. As for Cian's school, we spoke to an education lawyer today and have 3 more on deck. The first suggested going harder at the school to make better accommodations for him, then reapplying if we choose. She was appalled at the actions of the school and suggested reconsidering sending him there at all. Well, we'll see what the other one says. Also, Cian is not speaking with Alicia right now. Update number 5. Thank you everyone who reached out to me in the last post. As most of you said, the police really need to get involved as Alicia impersonated me and purposely ruined an opportunity for Cian to have an education where he would thrive. Okay, to answer a few questions to wrap it up, we thought about pressing charges for non-felony offenses. It's too late to get one for this incident, especially as it was in another country. Also, Samuel definitely is not harboring any lingering doubts about whether or not this is excusable behavior. Not only did she commit a couple of crimes here for her own benefit, she thinks that she got away with it. We both feel she needs to see some consequences. I don't know, a restraining order? We're also trying to get the school to provide a written statement, a copy of everything that Alicia said and did as, quote, me. We contacted them and said that we would like a detailed statement of what exactly happened and told them to be as specific as possible. We said we were using it to file a police report, as this was criminal impersonation with an intent to harm my family, and she was making Cian an accessory to a crime. The police reports will help when we submit it to the school. We could decide on pressing charges later, and there's no proper answer from them. So Samuel asked them straight up, "At what point in this conversation did you get triggered that something may be wrong? I want to find out if Alicia impersonated my wife outright, and I don't know, how did you check?" They said they would look into it. After this, Alicia asked us if we were seriously considering legal action for such a, quote, small thing. She also tried to have an open conversation with me, saying that she despises me only because I'm often cold to her when she approaches me. Like, no crap, idiot. With the way you've treated me, I've tried to be kinder to her and to be patient and understanding. Samuel and I believe she needs to be charged, fined, and jailed, plus a year-long timeout. No visits, no pictures, no texts, no phone calls, or any other contact. Father-in-law also needs a timeout. I have until the middle of February to decide if I'll take the job, but I'm 99% sure I'll be taking it. We're meeting with our real estate agent to discuss the first steps in listing our house, and we didn't love any of the places we saw, but Samuel's going back to look at some other places in a couple of weeks while I stay with Cian. Anyways, thanks again, guys. Also, I love the name suggestions. I think I will go with Hurricane Cabernet or Meddling Witch, because these all seem the most fitting for her.
Alright, so I just want to know your opinion on today's story. Do you guys think that OP went too far by canceling the party, getting rid of the decor, the food, the venue, and everything else that OP got rid of? In my opinion, I think it was definitely justified by the way that the mother-in-law was acting in today's stories. I know there was a giant fallout that happened towards the end of the story, but I just want to know your opinion on it, and maybe you've been in a similar situation with a mother-in-law or a father-in-law. So drop it downstairs in our comment section. Guys, thank you for joining me on today's video, and if you want daily videos just like today, all you gotta do is click that subscribe button. Once again, guys, click that subscribe button. It helps out so much with the channel, and I deeply appreciate it. I'll see you guys tomorrow, but do remember, it's cool to be kind, you know. See ya!